Nobody's perfect. Okay, except for like one person. Okay, like two. Oh, and okay, unless you are one of these 6 specific people, you're not perfect. This video might be a little difficult to watch. Maybe that's because I say some things that hit really close to home, or maybe just because my jokes are really bad. But regardless, in this video, I'm going to be getting a little bit more serious, so let's just dim those lights a little bit down. Yep, come on, just way down. There we go, perfect. Let's see just how much dramatic stock footage I can put in the background of this video. I want to preface this video by saying that I'm not making this because I'm looking for sympathy or compliments. You guys give me enough ego boosting on a daily basis. No, you're too kind. Stop. But in this video, I'm going to be talking about insecurities. That thing that everybody has, but nobody really wants to admit to themselves. The voices that always tell us that we can't, or that we're hideous, and basically the YouTube comment section in your brain. I think it's great that recently insecurities are becoming more and more talked about, but I don't want them to become accepted, because you can beat them. The most common insecurity that most people seem to have is body image. I get it, I've been there. I'm only just coming out of the dreaded teenage years, and I can say it definitely lives up to the hype. Everybody, at some point, thinks that they're fat. The most attractive people acting like they're the frickin' Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, who I think is actually pretty handsome. And then there's the all-encompassing, I'm ugly. Based on what, exactly? But it doesn't matter what other people tell you, right? If you think that you're ugly, you're gonna be ugly. And when you wake up in the morning and you see yourself in the mirror, you absolutely hate what's looking back at you. It's disgusting, it's hideous, and you're ashamed that anybody has to look at that. I have gigantic pimples and my butt is too big and my eyebrows look like caterpillars humping my face and I have raccoon eyes. What is wrong with you? That self-assessment took you like, what, 20 minutes? Do you really think anyone has the time to care that much about how your eyelashes are ever so slightly misaligned? Yes? Oh, okay. Now, as I was putting myself out there on the internet, I really couldn't afford to be insecure about myself. And even though I hated the way I looked, I finally decided to unveil my face. And people liked it. Now, I was an ugly-ass kid. And that's not an insecurity thing, that's just me recognizing that I've grown. Because I'm quite happy with the way I look now. Sure, I'm no Chris Pratt, but I mean... I used to have a problem with my hair because it sucks and I hate it. And so before every single video, I would spend about 30 minutes trying to get it ready. 20 minutes of that would be spent actually doing it up, and then 10 minutes would be wondering why it still looked like crap. Then I just gave up, and that's why my hair always ended up looking like that. Now though, I finally learned what a haircut is. I changed it. It didn't take all that much effort, but it made all the difference for me. Not because I looked different, but because I felt good about myself. Now, just because I'm confident doesn't mean that I'm immune to insults. If someone calls me ugly, then yeah, I'll probably still feel that, but it doesn't make them right. We live in a world where peak human performance is constantly shoved in our faces, and while yeah, it can give us something to aspire towards, it can also make you feel really insecure about yourself because you don't look like someone with the best skin cream of all. Photoshop. But don't ever feel that you have to look like that. You look like you, and that's absolutely fine. Insecurities can eat at you from the inside, tell you all of your deepest, darkest fears, and make you worry about the most insignificant of things. This is where the art of self-deprecation comes into play. This is a technique that people use where they insult themselves before anyone else does, so just in case someone makes fun of them, they can say that they got in first. Sure, it can work as a defense, but it's not a very good one. Because a lot of the time, that person is the only one making fun of themselves. And yes, I'm quite guilty of this myself in the past, absolutely. It should be known that Australians are incapable of producing their own entertainment. Take my channel, for example. All around me are familiar. That's not even funny. I'm making an active effort to stop myself from doing it, but I may have slipped up 1 or 2 times. I don't know, I'm shit at remembering. But anyway, I'll get to the real point of this video. I'm not very good at opening up to people, so it's gonna be fun doing it to a bunch of random people on the internet. Self-hatred is a feeling that I'm very familiar with. A lot of things happened to me over the past few years, but I'll spare you the details. That's a story for another day. What's important is that I turned myself into one hell of a lean, mean, self-hating machine. And yeah, I joke about it now, but at the time it got really, really bad. And even though now I've gotten over most of my physical insecurities, one problem that I carried over from them that I don't think will ever leave me is the constant feeling of inadequacy. And what I mean by that is no matter how hard I try or no matter how hard I push myself, I'll never be good enough. And whether it was school, YouTube, or just my day-to-day life, I was constantly telling myself that I wasn't as good as the people around me. Yes, I was one of those annoying kids who got a B+ on a test and then complained about it. I have a terrible habit of setting standards for myself that are absurdly high, goals that are just completely unrealistic at this point in time. And even when I do accomplish those goals, like an A on a test or a lot of views on a video, success then becomes a double-edged sword. Because now that I know that it's possible to achieve that then becomes the new expectation. If I don't get that next time, then I consider it a failure and then consider myself a failure. Where this affects me most is, unsurprisingly, YouTube, especially to do with view count. Every single week I post a video, I always get disappointed with the amount of views it receives. Because I have all of these subscribers, but no one's actually watching. It's incredibly demotivating, and sometimes I have days where I just don't want to work on anything, because what's the point? No one cares anyway. I go through the whole fantastic cycle. I never should have been a YouTuber. I'm worthless. I'll never be as good as the people around me. Why do I even bother when I can just do this shit and get way more views for it? Success, for me, is making progress. Those steps towards the eventual end goal. But success on YouTube, much like the rest of life, isn't linear. There's ups and there's downs. Yay! Aww, woo! Ah, damn it. Oh, okay, looking up. Oh, come on! I always told myself a bare minimum that my views should average out to about half of the subscribers that I currently have. Now, this was going pretty well when I only had about 30,000 subscribers, but as time passed and the views didn't go up, I started to feel more and more miserable. Because I wasn't making progress, I was just stuck. The solution I found, well, it's not much of a solution, but it's working for the time being, is instead of constantly tracking the view count in an effort to alleviate my fears only to disappoint myself every single week, is instead to hide from the view count until after I finish the next video, because by then, just in case I lose the motivation to work on it, it's already done. It's not the best fix, I know, but it's the only way I found I can keep at it. The standard I have now, at least, is 20,000 views, 1,000 likes, and 700 comments to be successful. Anything below those numbers just makes me feel like I wasted my time. And I've tried so hard not to let numbers get to me that much, but they do. They really, really do. Even things as minor and stupid as tweets can get to me. I always aim for 200 likes, and I seriously get disappointed if it's anything below that. And yes, I realize how ridiculous that sounds saying that out loud, but it doesn't stop my insecurities from dragging me down. What, do people not care about me anymore? Do they not like me? Did I do something wrong? You know that saying, you are your own worst critic? Well, it couldn't be any more true. I always watch my videos through before I upload them, and a lot of the time, I absolutely hate the final product. All that time spent working on that video and pouring my heart and soul into it, and working as hard as I can, only to watch it back and then think, wow, that was fucking shit. The standards I have for myself are unhealthily high. I'll be the first one to admit that. And even though recently I've been much more proud of my work, I still have off days where I absolutely despise what I create. Sure, a week later when it gets a lot of support and positive attention, I eventually grow to like it, but it's that moment just before upload that is the most miserable. It's just the worst feeling, because not only have I disappointed myself, but I've also disappointed the tens of thousands of people that were going to watch it. And I absolutely guarantee you the exact same thing will happen with this video as well. Now, I'm not telling you all this crap about my life story because I want to bore you to death, but because some of the things that I say may be very similar to how you feel about yourself, even if our situations are really, really different. One of the things that I discovered recently that I want you to be aware of is that you're not alone. You'd be surprised to find out how many people think the same way as you do about things like this, regardless of how successful they are. I have people who tell me how much they love me on a daily basis, both strangers on the internet and people who I'm close to, and yet it never sinks in. And I think that's because sometimes I just don't believe them. Hate comments don't usually get to me, especially now, but sometimes there's the odd one or two that just really sticks with you. They don't affect me because some stranger on the internet's calling me a faggot, they get to me because they're confirming something that I was telling myself. And that just makes it so much more real. It's one thing to be telling yourself that you have a certain issue, but for someone else to call it out, it just makes it feel a lot less irrational. Sometimes I want to give up. Sometimes I want to quit. Sometimes I want to be dead. I want to throw away everything that I've worked so hard to achieve because those thoughts can get so much at times. Why do I even bother when the things that I want are so close and yet also so far away? They're always so far away. It can become overwhelming because you feel like you're never gonna get there and you just feel empty and insignificant. Like, I don't matter. The reason all of this happens is because I am constantly comparing myself to others. There are so many other creators on YouTube that I look up to and admire and think are just absolutely amazing. But that admiration can sometimes turn into jealousy because As badly as I want to be as good as them, I know that I won't ever be. And as much as I love them, I get myself into a headspace where I feel like I'm almost competing with them. I could probably become an astronaut and go to the goddamn moon, and I still wouldn't feel proud about it because I wasn't the first person to do it. I never feel good enough. I see all these beautiful and talented people, and I tell myself that I'll never be as good as they are. But if there's always people that are better than you, then that means there's always people who are not as good as you, right? Now, I don't mean you should belittle them, but it means that there are people out there who wish they could be in your position. People who like you, people who admire you, people who wish that they could be you, just like you wish you could be somebody else. And I know what you're thinking. What if I don't have what you have? Well, that doesn't change a thing. I know I've been talking about YouTube a lot in this video, but that's only because it's such a big part of my life, so my insecurities affect it the most. You don't need to be a famous YouTube celebrity to feel this way. I had friends even before YouTube that I used to think were on such a pedestal above me, and I loved everything about them. But I never realized that they probably felt the same way. So yes, there are people that I think are leagues above me, but I admire them as creators, not as people, because I don't know them as people. And though I can't exactly see it, I'm absolutely certain that at some point they would have experienced the exact same feelings that I'm feeling. I highly doubt they've gone their entire lives without feeling even a little bit of doubt and sadness, because everybody feels it. It doesn't matter who you are or how successful you are, everybody feels this way at some point. And I can take as much inspiration from them as I want, but I can't be them. I will never be them. So I should stop wanting to be, because I can only be me. Now, these issues don't make me special or unique. They make me human. These shitty feelings stem from a wonderful thing that our brain does called cognitive bias. See? I do listen at school sometimes. When you believe something, like how shitty you think you are, you'll see it more when you go looking for confirmation. It's why when someone you have a crush on laughs at one of your jokes and you immediately think, I'm in voice! But it's also a real magnet for insecurities too. It's why when I read about 5 million positive comments, I think nothing of it, but there's like one negative comment and then I feel like everyone hates me. The beauty about this though is that it can also work in the reverse. If you keep reminding yourself that people care about you and you are loved, then eventually you can learn to shut out the bad stuff. I think the problem that I always had is that there's a very grey area between pride and ego. I always found it difficult to tell people what I was good at without sounding like I was boasting. But recognizing your talents isn't egotism. Just off the top of my head, and we're going unscripted here, I'd say I'm pretty good at editing and writing, I'm very creative, I'm funny, or so I've been told, I can type really, really fast, and I bet I know more about Bionicle than you do. I honestly do feel a bit silly saying that out loud because I don't know if people would agree with me or not, and it honestly does feel like bragging. But there is a massive difference between going around and telling people how great you think you are and being aware of your own strengths and weaknesses. Self-awareness is accepting compliments when you receive them instead of brushing them off. When someone tells you, wow, you're like amazing, instead of doing what I used to do and go, I mean, no I don't, I suck, leave me alone. Or being all like, I mean, yeah, duh, buy my merch. Try saying something like, yeah, thanks, I worked really hard on it. Acknowledge the work and care that went into that accomplishment just as they are, and be proud of it. They're not complimenting you for no reason. I see so many artists with this problem. My art is terrible. Shut up, you're amazing! I very quickly become insecure about my past videos, even ones as recent as a few months ago because they age worse than video games with realistic graphics. But I remind myself sometimes that at the time, that was the best I could do. And people did like it at the time. Sure, it might not hold up, but it was my best, and it goes to show how much I've improved. I know so many brilliant people that keep trying to bring themselves down, and I hate seeing them do that to themselves because they'll probably never realize how amazing they actually are. It's the same for me. I always feel like I'm chasing something and not really appreciating what I have in the moment. I spend a lot of time wishing I was better and constantly wanting to be other people. This can be a good thing sometimes because it always keeps me motivated to strive to improve myself. But it's also what causes me to be so picky about every single thing I make. I always fear that everything has to be perfect, so I rewrite and reshoot everything 100 times because I'm so worried that it's not going to be good enough. And I'm so worried that I'm not as good as I want myself to be. I wanted everything I did to be perfect, but it can never be perfect. The only thing I can give people is my best. So one thing that I always tell myself is to enjoy what I have at the moment because I'll miss it when I eventually accomplish those goals. I'll miss only having this many subscribers or miss being at the skill level I'm currently at. Because while I'm not the YouTuber that I want to be just yet, I am the YouTuber that the me of 3 years ago could only have dreamed of. In the grand scheme of things, what I have on YouTube is nothing. 15,000 views isn't even slightly amazing compared to, like, a million. But 15,000 people is still a lot of people. As is 1,000, or 100, or 10, or even 1. Thanks, Mum. Comparatively, it might not seem all that special to other people, but it's special to me because, well, it's mine. I achieved that. And compared to 3 years ago when I first started YouTube, where 10 viewers was considered a good week, I'd say that's a bit of an increase. This is something that is so important to do, and if there's any advice I want you to take away from this video, it's comparing yourself to yourself, not other people. Look at how much you've improved and grown, and whether you accomplished the things that you'd hoped to in the past. It's important to always be striving to improve, but it's equally important to recognize and feel proud about how far you've come, even if you're only halfway through your journey. Because yes, there's always going to be things I want to be better at, but it doesn't mean that I can't appreciate all the things I've accomplished from when I first started. You know that drawing you did a few years ago? Well, look at it now, it has a little hat. To do this, I very recently started writing a journal. Now, I know most people would cringe themselves to death at the mere thought of this, but it's almost like sending a message to myself in the future. I update it every month and include a passage about how I'm feeling, what I accomplished this month, and what I'm wanting to accomplish in the coming month. And I've found that coming back to that the following month and reading all about how I wanted to get something done, now knowing that I had done it, it just made me feel all that more successful. I found it's a really good way to make you feel proud about yourself while also giving you more motivation to get that thing done because you want to feel good about doing it. Now, you might be thinking to yourself that you don't really have anything to be proud of because you just sit inside and watch anime all day. Well, dude, I bet you know more about anime than I do, and that's cool. Really, everybody has something that they're good at. You don't suck unless you're one of these very few specific exceptions. When I was a kid, I used to be really worried that I didn't have a talent because all of my friends around me had something that they were really good at, like acting or drawing. And yet, look where I've gotten myself now. Take that, sucker! It's taking small steps. Be proud of even the smallest things that you have to push yourself to do. Even if it's just something as small as getting out of bed in the morning. I mean, I'm still proud of myself for doing that. That shit's hard. To those who are brave enough to post their creations on the internet, even if you think your work isn't all that special, just be proud of the fact that you were willing to share it with a bunch of complete strangers. That by itself is something to feel good about. And if you haven't discovered that something yet, my advice, try something new. Give yourself something to be proud of. It could be something like starting a collection, or picking up a hobby like drawing or playing an instrument, or practicing a skill like getting rich. It doesn't matter how other people see that thing. It's important that you think it's important. For me, getting 100k subscribers means the absolute world. For someone else, they're probably like, subscribers? Isn't that thing where you get magazines? You can control and change the way you feel about yourself. I realized that when I did debating a couple years back, even though I was deathly afraid of public speaking, and I found that after getting pretty good at it, you know, not to brag or anything, I realized that fear had pretty much disappeared. Because I changed what I was thinking about. I wasn't as concerned with people judging me because I was so concerned with kicking the other team's ass. Do I still get nervous when I public speak? Yes, absolutely. It never really goes away. But I know now, all that pressure and nervousness I always felt, it's all in my head. And knowing that, now you can apply it to yourself. Yes, you can beat yourself up over every wrong move you make. Or you learn from what you did wrong so that you can do better next time. I've gotten into a habit of basically self-cheerleading, and I would absolutely recommend it. Just put on some sick music, start that foot tapping, and psych yourself up. You can do this. I truly do believe that you can accomplish anything you set your mind to, so long as you're prepared to work for it. It doesn't matter how long it takes. It doesn't matter if other people got 100k subscribers in less than a year, while it's taken you nearly 4. Or if you only came second in a competition and not first. Or if you got a C on that assignment and everyone else got an A. You can do it. There's no simple cure for insecurities. I can't give you a magical and easy solution because I'm not you. You are you. You are in control of how you feel about yourself. And you know, sometimes it's just knowing that keeps my head up. I think I'm pretty freaking awesome. And this year has been the first year where I can truthfully say that. But see, the thing is, so are you. You may not know it yet, and you may have spent this entire video agreeing with me, but not really seeing yourself applying it. Well, I'm here to tell you. You are awesome. And don't let anyone, including yourself, tell you otherwise. Just because I'm aware of all of these problems doesn't mean that I can always stop them. It still happens. And as much fun as I make of them, it still hurts. And it will for a really long time yet. Because it's not an overnight fix. But I'm getting better. I still quite frequently switch between moods of feeling proud about myself and then immediately hating myself. But hey, compared to last year where every single second of my life was spent hating myself, I think I'm getting somewhere. One of the things I originally envisioned as my end goal on YouTube was standing in front of a large crowd of people with a microphone at some convention or something. It sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? But so does me thinking I'd be where I am right now all those years ago. I'm not at my end goal, definitely not. But I'm confident enough to know that if I keep at it, I will eventually accomplish that dream. I want to go to meetups and conventions and Q&As and signings, and I will. Nothing is going to stop me. Unless my channel gets shut down, or YouTube shuts down, or I get copyright struck, and oh god, it's happening again. I can do it, and I will do it. There will be people who will try and drag you down, try and destroy you. But you don't have to listen to them. They probably have their own issues and insecurities, and they cope with it by taking it out on others. Now, as I said, don't do that. Everyone deserves to be happy. Unless you intentionally go out of your way to hurt other people, in which case, ooh look, special place in hell, right for you. You know all of those amazing people I said that I looked up to? They had to defy those thoughts telling them to give up to get where they are. They did it because they believed they could do it. And now they are where they are. And I want to get there too. I don't want to let some stupid gremlin in my head that keeps shouting at me tell me otherwise. Into the sink with you, demon! And yes, I know telling you to believe in yourself sounds like all that Parappa the Rapper Yu-Gi-Oh shit, but I wouldn't tell you to do it if it wasn't solid advice. No, it can't solve all your problems, but it's a good place to start. Me being aware of all of the issues I have alone isn't enough to stop them. I can tell myself I'm going to change the way I think all I want, but so long as I don't actively fight those thoughts, nothing's going to change. But I'm going to try, and I want you to try as well, because you deserve it. A lot of people will probably tell you that it doesn't matter what other people think. Well, no, it does. It really does. Because if it doesn't, then why should I listen to you? It does matter what other people think, but you shouldn't have to rely on validation to feel good about yourself. And what other people say shouldn't change how you look at yourself. Fight those voices. You are a good person. You are worthy of love. You deserve to be happy. You are loved. You are unique. You are beautiful.